Here in a nice secluded anchorage in Nova Scotia. We're waiting a little bit of a blow tonight, and so I thought it might be kind of fun to give you a deck tour. We're a little bit obsessed about anchoring on Morgan's Cloud. 120-pound spade is on the bottom and well set. And as you can see, we have two bow rollers. We're not actually big on two anchors anymore. We trust the single anchor, more on that in the anchoring book. But if you are going to have two bow rollers, as we do, and you want to make it useful, have them offset with the secondary one well forward, as shown here. And that lets you bring a mooring pin aboard without it chafing the anchor. You can see we've got a snubber there taking the load. We're a big believer in snubbers. We use one every time we anchor. Coming off from that, we have a massive custom-built chain brake. You really want one of these so that no matter what happens, you can take the load off the windlass. In fact, we put the chain brake on when we're setting the anchor because we set it so aggressively that it's not really very good, even for our massive windlass, to put that load on the shafts, etc. Ideal windlass. You can read about what we think you need in a windlass, and this certainly ticks all the boxes. We have twin Harkin roller furlers, one on the staysail and one on the jib top. They've been great. As you can see, the cloud's long and thin, although it's a bit exaggerated by the wide angle on the lens. Dinghy's on the foredeck right now. That's our inshore position. It's lashed down well with heavy webbing. But offshore, it's always rolled up and stowed below. We believe strongly in clear decks. Here are a couple of cool details. You can see the stanchion bases are built into the tow rail and are massively strong. Then forward of that, there's a fitting, the bow coming out from the side of it, and that's for the forward end of the Spinnaker pole. Normally they're stowed on the forward side of the mast, but if we're expecting a real blow, we'll bring it down on deck. We're great believers in plenty of winches. Each live halyard has its own winch, and we believe in handling all the halyards at the mast. We don't lead them back. Keeps things simple, keeps friction down. Here's a close-up of the pole, and it's got one of those handy-dandy Antel devices to grind the butt up and down. We've got a couple of granny bars there, and those are great. Really keep you safe at sea. Each of the halyards has a clutch, with the exception of the main halyard, and it's a really good reason you don't put a clutch on the main halyard, and we'll be talking about that in our Sail Handling Made Easy online book. Here's the front of the boom. Massive gooseneck, massive vang gooseneck. As you can see, hydraulic vang. I was really skeptical about these things when I got the boat. It came with it. But I tell you, it's been wonderful, and there are so many benefits to a hydraulic vang like this, not the least of which is you get rid of one of the inventions of the devil, which is the boom topping lift. Up in the upper middle there, you can see the reefing winch, reefing clutches. We have a lot more on that on the site. Best cockpit I've ever sailed offshore in. It's not a day sailing cockpit, but for short-handed offshore sailing, it really can't be beat. Two chart tables either side. We added those pods either side and brought all the navigation equipment up on deck. Looks complicated, I know, looks like a lot of gear, but it's actually pretty simple. And it's all dedicated units. We'll start over on the left-hand side there, port. At the bottom there's a Vesper, GPS, and AIS. That's been an ongoing story. We finally got that working after 2 years, probably. The forward scan sonar, plotter, which is actually just a screen running on a computer down below. And you can see the keyboard and mouse there, all waterproof. Autopilot control, wind instruments, and then on the other side, Bruno radar, an old North Star GPS, and a ICOM VHF radio. Here's a nice little detail. We've got these pockets either side, and they hold reading glasses for aging eyes, and dividers, hand bearing compass pencils, etc. We always have the paper charts out ready to go. The thing that always amazes me is that how cruising boats end up without enough winches. You see more winches on a racing boat than a cruising boat, which is just stupid if you think about it, because racing boat are a bunch of gorillas on board. Cruising boat, it's aging couple like us. Well, speaking for myself, Phyllis, of course, is young. From forward, it's the staysail. The big one, big 3-speed there, is the jib top. And the aft one is the runner. And you can see that bank of clutches, which also allows us to bring the roller furling lines from the jib top and staysail to the runner winch. Main sheet, we've got a winch, and then the tackle. You see all really good quality blocks. You just don't want to cheap out on a cruising boat on blocks, because like with the winches, you've really got less strength to bring to bear on the problem. So you need all the help you can get. There's a proper boom gallows. And not only is it a lot safer way to retain the boom offshore, it's not whacking around, but also the gallows itself, the part that's holding the boom, is removed when we're sailing. But the gallows itself goes a long way to protect the crew in the cockpit from an errant main sheet and a crash jibe, or just the boom if something went wrong and it collapsed. This is a real Dorade ventilator, and it makes a huge difference. People are cutting corners now, these stupid little tiny Dorades, or no Dorades at all. There's just no air in the boat. Yeah, it's great if you're on the anchor and got the hatches open, but you can be offshore for days at a time with the hatches dogged down because of the spray, and it'll just get miserable below if you don't have proper Dorades. There's our Kedge Fortress anchor all ready to go. You can read more about that in the anchoring book. As Colin is wont to say, it's not a bad life if you don't weaken, this cruising thing. Hope you enjoyed it. You can learn a lot more about the boat and the way we do things on the site.